rebar! Yeah, we're gonna put thousands of seeds down on this property, and the curse of the Shire is gonna roll in soon. I know Howie was yelling at me for growing in tires because they're toxic. The plant? Green plant? Gosh, she don't come out here much. That is kale. Welcome to the Shire project. No, it's kale. It'll be here all year, all next summer. That plant there, you can pick and harvest from that. That kale does well here. It survived the winter. Things you want to do early on in the season before the heat totally rolls in is there are a lot of species of seeds. There's a lot of plants that say early on them. And what does that mean? Early is before the heat and the bugs roll in. So I'm going to go up there and check and see if we have early squash, and I'll get those in the pots maybe, and try to get something before the bug pressure comes in, because that's where we're going to be growing in. You know, I'm going to fight the good fight. Yeah, we're going to put thousands of seeds down on this property, and the curse of the Shire is going to roll in soon. And that'll be an end of April video. We'll film for the curse of the Shire, and I'll explain what's going to go on here on this back half acre behind our trellis system. I mean, it's just fantastic to see these little clumps of grass taking hold. And I encourage it. I want something covering the soil. You know, there's some native species down here that are low. Since I haven't mowed over or killed them, they seem to be taking foothold. And I'm just trying to fix this. You know, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm growing in. Of course, from the rain, all the topsoil is washed away. But this clay, there's just rock hard clay underneath here. And this needs to have some sort of organic matter put on top of it. And the only thing I have is the wild greenery that's growing back here. Little clovers, you know, taking foothold alongside grass and whatever native species this is, you know. And it's just spotty, but I'll take it. If I can get these roots in the soil, I can slowly repair this. You can see things are taking foothold. Things are getting green in spaces. We have some slow repair. I mean, I don't want this. I want this. Where we work the hardest on doing that is the backyard. Was recovering. You know, it's slow. It's a slow process. You can tell our walking paths, when we come to the chicken coop, the walking paths are just worn out. You'll notice there are no pots in the old shaded garden anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do with that area. I have some ideas. I would like to get some raised beds in there. Just some basic raised beds to grow things on. Fast acting things. And those pots are now down here by the trellis system. And I think I have to pull one more from there and get it positioned there. So what I'm thinking of doing is getting the cattle panels, doing something with the cattle panels, and I've got more PVC that I was going to put at the start of this terrace. This is the first terrace, you can see. That is the first terrace. And then it comes out and it slides down to down there, that line, and then it flattens out again. So that's a second terrace. And the third terrace is the back of the pond that goes up and across. Oh, what's that line? You drop the line of soil and we put elephant grass all along that. I think it'll look pretty. And what I might mix with that is some mammoth sunflower to go along there, or okra. Drop some okra in. The flowers are pretty when they bloom. I'm not a big okra fan, but I do appreciate the flowers and the look of the plant. And so I think that'd be a nice backdrop for when we're filming. And you can see all the solarized clay that's gone into the pond. And that's just washed down. Coming down from here. The wash down goes and it fills up. It's all cloudy and clay. And then it settles down and it's repairing the pond. Because what if I never get a pond liner? Can I afford one? No. Is there a possible chance to get one in the future? Yes. Since this is perfectly dug down and in, and I do have more of those PVC piping, I can arc them over and possibly get a thin, cheap greenhouse polyfilm and stretch that up and over, and that might be the spot for now for the winter greenhouse to grow in. It's pretty flat down there. Not too bad. But it's already dug 3 feet down. And it's 3.5 feet on that side. So that's an idea. That's a project that has a possibility for the end of 2026. Mixing all the soil up, getting all the compost in, checking all the bags, see if there's any problem with the soil that we have. Everything looks good so far. This clay is turning into fantastic soil with the compost. So and these are, I think they're 7-gallon pots. These are the big boys that we have. So I'm starting to recondition all those out. Poinsettia cucumbers are going to do something crazy. I think if I had just one plant, it would just travel. But there's at least 4 down inside those rows. I know Howie was yelling at me for growing in tires because they're toxic. But I was without planters and I needed something. And I'm thinking we have another type of squash or pumpkin coming up. This is a volunteer. This is the tangerine habanero. I'm not really good at sprouting peppers or growing them, but I'll give them a shot in here. I probably got about, I don't know, maybe 12 seeds in each. Something's got to come up. If not, it's a loss. And these were sweet on the tip, like the first 1/4 inch. And then as you got up the pepper, the tangerine habanero, so spicy, just got really, really hot. But my God, a blast of citrus flavor. Got it in a pretty good sunny spot. We headed down to Gail's, our neighbor. She cracked open her survival seed packets, and inside we found sugar pie pumpkins. So we're gonna put those in the ground, and some winter squash, which is awesome. Took 2 seeds out of that, so we're gonna get those planted right now. So there we have the 3 sugar pie seeds in. and those 2 butternut winter squash. Of all the squash varieties and pumpkins that died, the replanting after the last frost mayhem, it looks like gold zucchini, 2 popped up. I'm not seeing anything else on the spooky pumpkins. Nothing came up on the Cherokee bush pumpkins. Now mind you, there was tons of things sprouted, so I know the seeds are good. Just got to give them a little more time. Jack B. Little, nothing there. But it looks like we have a Ford hook squash that just broke ground. The Ford hook behind it, nothing. The delicata squash, nothing just yet. But yeah, we'll give it some more time. I mean, this is promising. It just knows that everything's coming up, right? And look at gold zucchini. Look how fast that is compared to everything else. Back on this, I just stretched it across. We're getting the trellis system up and going. So the tarp is now fixed and I've got all the weights in place. Next I have to do the shade cloth, untangle all that. I balled it up for winter because we get wind storms. And then I'll get that stretched across, and when I am up there on the ladder, we will repair the net once again and get all that fixed for the season. Slowly forming. It's going to be the mega trellis system. What's going to happen is this secondary rain channel is going to go in the other side. So it's going to go on the southern side as opposed to the northern side where we're growing our peas and all of our lettuce. What are you? You've taken over the yard. So it's everywhere. I don't know what this is. Anyone can ID this plant. It's very soft. Does anyone recognize this? This is the beginning of the structure. I know it's a nice breeze out. I'm not complaining. Probably sounds horrible on film. I'm not going to apologize because I am enjoying it. But I'm going to put the wrought iron in the ground and it's going to stick these poles straight up. I got them tied wire, so it's going to make an arc. And then the idea is to run the string in Florida weave back and forth, and then we'll have a canopy grown over tier number 2. That's tier number 1, tier number 2. Yeah, now you can see the tiers, right? There's the first tier, second tier. There's the pond. There's all the elephant grass, and then the other tier, and that just drops off and slopes down into the vining field, which is a complete mess, and that's fine. Slowly fixing things one step at a time. I got to drive almost 2/3 of this into the ground. So 2-foot piece of rebar. Rebar! There we go. I knew I'd remember. 2-foot piece of rebar is gonna go in. Good enough. A little over half. It's good. You gotta pull this forward, and I can arc it and bend that down, shove that in. Maybe someday we can afford a real camera. That way we don't have the anti-shake happening. If you can see the vision, it's starting to happen. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get those done. But yeah, it's coming along. Again, thanks folks for joining us here at the Shire project, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.